Iran spent 20 years building the most protected nuclear facility on Earth. They buried it inside a mountain, poured concrete around concrete, went nearly 100 meters underground. They ran the math, consulted their engineers, looked at every weapon in every arsenal on the planet, and concluded, nothing can reach this. On June 13, 2025, they found out how wrong they were. What happened over the next 12 days didn't just damage Iran's nuclear program. It exposed something Iran had been hiding from the entire world and raised a question nobody has fully answered yet. That same morning, Israeli aircraft were already crossing into Iranian airspace. The 12-day war had begun. A massive, coordinated assault targeting military installations, air defense batteries, nuclear facilities, and the scientists who worked inside them. Iran's Russian-supplied S-300 air defense systems, considered the primary shield protecting its most sensitive sites, were among the first things destroyed. Without those missile batteries, the skies above Iran's nuclear infrastructure were open, unguarded. Iran had assumed its layered defenses would hold. They didn't. Israel had been watching for months, not weeks. Months, every facility, every scientist, every movement of equipment. The intelligence picture they built was extraordinary, and what it showed was alarming. Iran wasn't years away from a nuclear weapon. It was months away. Satellite imagery had tracked the movement of materials. Human intelligence had identified key personnel and their locations. Signals intelligence had monitored communications within Iran's nuclear establishment, revealing both technical capabilities and the degree of urgency within Iran's own military command. The window for action was narrowing rapidly. The targeting list that emerged reflected that calculation. The facility at Natanz was among the first to absorb the full weight of what Israeli strike planners had prepared. Natanz is not one building. It is a sprawling complex of above-ground structures and deeply buried cascade halls, home to thousands of centrifuges enriching uranium through a process Iran had spent years perfecting. On June 13th, Israeli strikes targeted the electrical infrastructure with extraordinary precision. The main electrical substation was destroyed. The primary power supply building was gutted. Emergency backup generators were eliminated. Then, ground-penetrating munitions went to work on the cascade halls themselves. The above-ground section of Natanz's pilot fuel enrichment plant was functionally destroyed. Underground sections sustained serious damage. A loss of primary power caused cascading failures deep beneath the surface that extended far beyond what the direct strikes alone could achieve. Uranium hexafluoride gas spinning inside damaged centrifuges doesn't simply stop. It contaminates. It corrodes. It creates radiological and chemical hazards that make repair not merely difficult, but potentially lethal for the engineers who attempt it. But Fordow was supposed to be different. This was the facility Iran was certain nobody could touch. The Fordow uranium enrichment plant was not built to be found. It was not built to be reached. Iran's engineers had bored it directly into the Earth's bedrock, pouring concrete around reinforced concrete, layering protection upon protection, until the facility became something that looked on paper completely unreachable. Iranian officials had made their confidence clear. Fordow was beyond the reach of any conventional military strike, beyond the reach of any existing munition in any existing arsenal. Initial assessments following the June strikes suggested Fordow had survived relatively intact. Iran likely took comfort in that. Western analysts were less certain. Months passed. Satellite imagery was examined. In September 2025, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi confirmed what those analysts had suspected. Fordow had sustained significant damage in the American strikes. Almost all of the site's sensitive equipment had been destroyed. The facility Iran had spent years engineering as the crown jewel of its nuclear program, the backup enrichment site capable of producing uranium enriched to 60% purity, had been gutted from the inside. The United States had used 14 GBU 57A/B massive ordnance penetrator bombs carried by B-2 Spirit stealth bombers along with Tomahawk cruise missiles fired from a submarine in what the Pentagon designated Operation Midnight Hammer on June 22, 2025. The MOP, the largest non-nuclear bunker-busting weapon in the American arsenal, weighs 30,000 pounds. It was designed for exactly this scenario, and it worked. A Pentagon assessment released in July 2025 found that Iran's nuclear program had likely been set back by approximately 2 years. But the strikes did not stop in June. That was only the beginning. The technical challenges of the campaign had been formidable. Fordow's location necessitated weapons with sufficient penetrating power to breach the mountain itself. The precision required to disable enrichment equipment without triggering uncontrolled releases of uranium hexafluoride demanded strike planning of exceptional sophistication. The coordination between multiple military platforms, stealth bombers arriving from vast distances, cruise missiles launched from submarines in the Persian Gulf, Israeli aircraft conducting strikes from the west, required synchronization measured in seconds and flawless execution under real-time conditions. Iran's reconstruction efforts began almost immediately. Satellite imagery, captured between May and November 2025, showed extensive activity at multiple targeted sites. New roofs appeared over damaged structures. Earth-moving equipment worked continuously. Iran was not attempting to rebuild openly. It was attempting to conceal. The new construction appeared designed to shield ongoing work from overhead observation. What Iran was doing beneath those new roofs, analysts acknowledged openly, was not entirely known, but the speed and scale of the effort suggested Iran considered certain assets worth protecting at significant cost and effort. Then came the discovery that changed everything. A facility the outside world had not previously known existed. Minzadai, a complex east of Tehran, described by Israeli officials as a secret nuclear compound, where scientists had been working on components directly connected to nuclear weaponization. This is not enrichment. This is not spinning gas through centrifuges. This is the final, most sensitive stage of bomb making, taking enriched material and physically shaping it into the form a weapon requires. The fact that this facility existed without any public acknowledgement or IAEA reporting underscored the degree to which Iran had been advancing its weaponization capabilities in the shadows. The intelligence that led to its targeting represented a significant penetration of Iran's most tightly held secrets. Iran hadn't just been building a nuclear program. It had been hiding a weapons program inside the nuclear program. Then there was Taliban 2. Inside the Parchin military complex southeast of Tehran sits a site with a documented history stretching back to Iran's Ahmad Plan in the early 2000s, the nuclear weapons development program Iran has long denied. Taliban 2 takes its name from a high explosive test chamber. That detail matters enormously. In the context of a nuclear program, high explosives serve a specific and irreplaceable purpose. They are used to compress fissile material with extraordinary speed and evenness, triggering the nuclear chain reaction that produces a nuclear detonation. A country cannot build a functional nuclear weapon without mastering that explosive compression. Taliban 2 appeared to be where Iran was doing exactly that. Israel struck the facility in late October 2024, severely damaging it. Iran rebuilt it, fortified it, buried more of it underground. Israel struck it again in March 2026, with earth-penetrating weapons hitting the facility directly. The same facility, twice, with months of Iranian rebuilding in between. That decision reflected a calculated message. Hardening and concealment would not provide lasting protection. Isfahan told a different story. Located roughly 350 kilometers south of Tehran, Isfahan hosted facilities performing functions that sat at the heart of Iran's nuclear fuel cycle. The uranium conversion process happened here. Raw uranium material was transformed into uranium hexafluoride gas to be fed into centrifuges at Natanz and Fordow. More critically, Isfahan also produced uranium metal, the processed form of enriched uranium needed for weapon assembly. During Operation Midnight Hammer, the United States confirmed using cruise missiles against multiple buildings at Isfahan. IAEA, reporting later confirmed damage at the site's chemical laboratory uranium conversion plant and the processing plant used for converting uranium tetrafluoride into enriched uranium metal. The storage tunnels at Isfahan, where Iran maintained stockpiles of enriched material, appear to have been struck at their access points. Entrances to those tunnels were targeted and destroyed. By early 2026, the focus of the campaign had shifted. The second phase of Israeli strikes was aimed less at enrichment infrastructure, already substantially damaged, and more at the weaponization process itself. The distinction is critical. Enrichment produces the fissile material. Weaponization turns it into a bomb. Even a country with severely degraded enrichment capacity could, in theory, pursue weaponization using existing stockpiles of enriched uranium, provided it retained the technical facilities and expert personnel to do so. Israeli targeting in the months following the 12-day war appeared specifically designed to eliminate that possibility. According to the IDF, at least 4 additional nuclear weaponization sites were struck during this second phase. Several of those sites had not previously appeared in any public reporting. On March 21st, 2,026 strikes resumed against Natanz. Satellite imagery showed that on March 1st, the personnel and vehicle access points to Natanz's underground enrichment halls had been targeted and destroyed. Then, on March 27th, imagery revealed that 2 security checkpoints on the surface and the main entrance to the complex had also been struck and demolished. The targeting logic was methodical, not a single catastrophic blow, but a systematic dismantling of the site's ability to function, its power, its access points, its personnel infrastructure. Limit freedom of movement, prevent ground access, force Iran to spend resources and expose personnel simply attempting to reach the underground halls, then strike again. The Bushehr nuclear power plant introduced a dimension of the conflict that alarmed the international community in ways the weapons sites had not. Bushehr is Iran's only operational nuclear power reactor, a 915 megawatt civilian facility. It generates electricity. It is not a weapons facility. When projectiles struck close to the Bushehr premises in early April 2026, the IAEA issued immediate statements warning that any strike near operational nuclear reactors risked triggering a radiological incident. On April 4th, a projectile struck close to the site itself. 1 worker was killed. A building was damaged by shockwaves. No increase in radiation levels was reported. But the proximity to an operational reactor carrying enriched uranium fuel represented a category of risk that changed the international conversation around the entire campaign. Iran's stockpile had told its own story in the months before the war. On May 31st, 2025, the IAEA reported that Iran had sharply accelerated its accumulation of uranium enriched to 60% purity, just 1 technical step below weapons-grade material. The stockpile had reached over 408 kilograms, nearly a 50% increase since February of that year. Analysts had been explicit about what that number meant. That quantity, if further enriched, was sufficient for multiple nuclear weapons. Iran had not been moving slowly toward a threshold. It had been sprinting. What Iran believed was unreachable turned out not to be. The mountain didn't protect them. The concrete didn't protect them. 20 years of engineering and planning didn't protect them, and the scientists who held the knowledge, the ones who couldn't be replaced by rebuilding the concrete. Some of them are gone too. Iran can pour new concrete. It cannot pour new expertise. That's the part of this story that doesn't end with a ceasefire.